I ain't mad at it. Joe, we gotta switch topics, man. The Steelers, another tough ending to their season, bruh. They fall short of making it out of the wild card round. They lose to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, both of us expected this. Both of us kind of saw this coming, right? But given the recent history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, given the recent history of Mike Tomlin, some are questioning at this point, should the Steelers move on from him? I know I have my opinion at this point. But I want to pitch it to you first because I want to hear what you got to say about it first. Joe, do you think the Steelers should move on from Mike Tomlin?
Okay. In my opinion, I think the question shouldn't be, should the Steelers move from Mike Tomlin? I think it's the other way around. I think Mike Tomlin should leave the Steelers. All right? Because here's the thing. I get it. It's been a lot of turnover. Different GMs, different coordinators, different quarterbacks. But Mike Tomlin has been the same voice, and it's been the same result. But, sometimes people become mute, become deaf to your tone. Like they hear your voice. You say, like I have kids, right? Well, it hasn't happened to me yet, but my kids are young. But I know me growing up, your mom and dad, like somebody will tell you something, hey, something. Then you go out on the street and the same person, the same exact thing, and it clicks. You listen, because you become deaf to the same ear, to the same voice. And that's probably what's going on with Pittsburgh. And also, you have familiarity with this, with Andy Reid. Andy Reid was with Philly and 5 conference championships games
around in there. Yeah.
Right? And one, he actually went to the Super Bowl and lost. Andy Reid was very successful. And listen, Donovan McNabb, I never was a hater of him, but he wasn't like, I feel like he was, I'm not gonna respect Donovan McNabb, but he wasn't like a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Peyton Manning or, he wasn't a Drew Brees, nothing like that. But Andy's system, what Andy did with those players, he got those guys to the conference championship every year, successful seasons, winning the division, all that stuff, right? And then y'all never kicked in the door. And this is y'all getting there. Mike Tomlin haven't won a wild card game since 2016. That's crazy. Lost to Lamar, I get it. It's Lamar Jackson. Lost to Mahomes, I get it. It's Mahomes. Lost to Josh Allen, I get it. It's Josh Allen. But what about Baker Mayfield? What about Blake Bortles? You know what I mean? So what's the excuse for that? So there has to be sometimes there's a new scenery is better for both sides. It is. Y'all let go Andy Reid, and what happened? Y'all finally win a Super Bowl. Y'all win a Super Bowl, and what Andy Reid does, win 3. So it worked out. And then not only y'all win a Super Bowl, y'all got rid of that coach and then promoted another one, and y'all still are relevant. See, the only thing is y'all promoted somebody in-house. Who is in-house over there in Pittsburgh that I think that can just take over and take them to the next level? I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. That's my only thing about me. But if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm having considerations like, you know what? Maybe it's probably, I know Pittsburgh is a prestigious organization. I know that it's only been like 4 head coaches in their whole franchise history. I understand all that. That Mike Tomlin understands the job he has. I remember they was talking about him going to college coaching. And he's like, man, I got probably the best job in the NFL. I think I'm going to leave to go to college. I understand that. But sometimes a new scenery is better for both parties. And I still believe if Mike Tomlin were to become a free agent, he would be the number one. I'm talking about this year, next year, the year after that. He would be the number one prospect for somebody to grab him because he's a coach. He would change the culture. He's a leader of men. So I do think it's time, AJ. I really do. I think it's time.
I like how you rephrase that question because I couldn't agree with you more, but I'm gonna answer it how it is.
Okay.
Should the Steelers move on from Mike Tomlin? Joe, it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you're looking for. Do the Steelers want to win the Super Bowl right now? I would assume so. Do the Steelers want to be a team that makes long playoff runs? I would assume so. On the other hand, you can make the assumption because he's still there after, 6 straight wild card losses, that they are okay with being mediocre. That's if I want to win the Super Bowl, if I'm the Steelers, I'm at this point moving off of Mike Tomlin because exactly what you said. I feel like maybe they're not deaf to his message, but they need fresh perspective. They need fresh ideas. I believe on both sides of the ball, especially offensively. It's only been so many offensive coordinators you can run through before it's like, all right, let's just get a new head coach. Maybe let's just get an offensive-minded head coach. And then the way the defense plays down the stretch, I know they have had a lot of injuries, a lot of unfortunate things happen, but the defense is leaky down the stretch as well. It's like, and this is my thing too, Joe. I assume Mike Tomlin has a lot of power within the organization, but I don't really. That's why I asked, Vaughn, shout out to Vaughn, big Steelers fan. So I asked him in the past, how much control does he really have over personnel decisions? Does he have control over what quarterback they bring in? Not the quarterback that they start, but the quarterback that they draft, the quarterback that they bring in. It's one thing to have a say. It's another thing to control it. Like Bill Belichick at one point was controlling things. Chip Kelly at one point was controlling things. If he's controlling this, he definitely got to go. Because Big Ben ain't there no more. It ain't even Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell no more. Santonio Holmes, he not there no more. Hines Ward, like them days are over with. And ever since those days, he has failed to find a quarterback that could come in and get it done. He has failed to put a formula together to come in and get it done. You look at the records since 2017. Joe, you got one 12-win season here. And in that 12-win season, they lost in the first round to Baker Mayfield. Since, again, 2017, Joe. If this was any other coach in the NFL, they'd be gone. And that's just the truth. If it was just about any other coach in the NFL, they'd be gone. He's still there because of his championship resume before this stretch. Because, like you said, he is a leader of men. But it has gotten to a point where it doesn't seem like you can win with him if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, to your point, Mike Tomlin, maybe he does move on to another team and win. I think he can. I still believe in Mike Tomlin, but I don't believe in him here with the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. I just don't see it. We have seen enough, and we have seen a couple of collapses on his watch. This season was a collapse. I don't care how anyone phrases it. You lost 5 straight games when you started out 10-3. The Steelers went from being a true threat in the AFC, a threat to win their division and potentially make a run to the 6th seed and a wild card exit. Like that. And it ain't all because of George Pickens and his injury or when he came back, him dropping passes. So I think if I'm Pittsburgh, bro, I think it's time. I know it's hard to do. It's hard to move on from a legendary coach. I know everybody's not going to agree on the decision, but at some point, Joe, you got to turn the page. And that's not only for the Steelers organization, it's for Steelers fans too. I know quite a few Steelers fans. No, just hold on to Mike Tomlin. For what is he doing for you? What is this fun for you right now? We got 9-6, 8-8, then the 12-4 season when you went home. Then you got 9-7, 9-8, 10-7, and 10-7. Does that sound like fun, bro?
No.
It sounds like a tease to me.
Sound like Jason Garrett.
I mean, that's to me, especially if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan that's seen a couple championships. Yeah. I'm tired of this by now. I'm sick of this by now. So yes, I think it's time to move on. Where to go? I'm not quite sure yet. I'd have to come back to that. But Mike Tomlin, I'd have to move on from. And even if it gets worse next year, you're in a rebuilding phase. It's how I would view it. You're in it. You got to be okay with rebuilding. You got to be okay with rebuilding. So that's what I would do.
And here's the thing. The main thing people say is the quarterback, right? But you have to prepare as a head coach. The head coach has some say-so on something that's going on, especially Mike Tomlin. I'm sure Mike Tomlin has some say-so on what kind of players coming there. AJ, I think of guys like Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts. Guys that were drafted late in the draft. I'm talking about late first round or post first round, like Mr. Irrelevant, and became starting QBs for winning organizations. So there's no really excuse for real. You know what I mean? Like you can find somebody if you plan it. Like the Chiefs, they had Alex Smith, but Andy Reid, like Alex Smith is not gonna get us to the next level. Let's go get Mahomes. They traded up, they got Mahomes, and it's history. Yeah. Jalen Hurts was sitting there. I think it was last pick of the first round. First round? Last pick of the first round?
Second round. It was like top pick of the
First
second
pick
round.
of the second round.
For us,
right, and Lamar was the last pick of the first round. And both of y'all had quarterbacks. They had Joe Flacco, Super Bowl winning quarterback, who had just signed a contract not too long ago. And y'all had y'all had Carson Wentz, right?
Yes, we did. And we had just re-signed Carson Wentz to a big contract.
Y'all didn't win yet. Y'all had one, right?
Already. We had one, yep.
Y'all had one. Yeah, just won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Like you said, y'all in the quarterback dilemma, but yet you still draft Hurts because you're preparing for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't see that with the Steelers. You know what I mean? Like, who are they drafted? When they drafted Kenny Pickett, it was kind of like, okay, they drafted they needed a quarterback and they drafted the best quarterback available. That's how that was a Will Levis and Kenny Pickett draft. But outside of that, you don't really see them drafting a QB. He ain't gonna start right now, but he's gonna be the future, right? Because they're 8-8 every year, so they're gonna have to do that. So they gotta part ways, bro. They got to. I know Vaughn mentioned to me on the side. He said Mike Tomlin needs a young-minded offensive coordinator. That's what Vaughn said. No, that might work because we haven't seen that. You know what I mean? But will that happen? Like, are they going to do that this year?
This is the problem, though. How long is the young-minded offensive coordinator going to stay an offensive coordinator before they become a head coach?
That's true.
So you're going to have a young-minded offensive coordinator that's there for 1, maybe 2 years, maybe, if he decides to stay where he's at, if you're winning. Because we all know these teams, they will, as soon as they see you winning, they coming for your coaching staff. They look at, let's get him, let's make him a head coach. And so at some point, why don't you just make the young offensive coordinator your head coach? But because you're not winning with your head coach right now. And I do want to address this comment that Kev said, because it kind of speaks to what I've said before. And I've said this to Vikings fans before they moved on for Kirk Cousins. He said, if the Steelers move on from him, they'll be the next Browns in the division. It gets to a point, Joe. I'd rather be the Browns for a little bit. I'd rather be the Browns. If I want to win a championship, bro, I don't like being mediocre the same way I don't like being bad. Which one sets me best up to be to get back to that level? A restart. They are not, I don't view them as just a couple pieces away from a championship. They need to rebuild, in my opinion. Like, they need to rebuild. They need to go into that phase because right now, keeping him is going to keep you mediocre, second or third place in the division. So if you're third place, bro, say Joe Burrow and the Bengals improve this offseason and they're the second seed, right? Okay, so instead of being the fourth seed, you're the third in the division. I'd rather just be the fourth, bro. like I'd rather just rebuild and start over, in my opinion.
This is gonna sound crazy with the right leadership, because it's all about leadership. And the Steelers have good leadership. I mean, they are a franchise with great leadership. Browns don't. So let's not compare them to the Browns. Maybe they record for 1 year, but if the Browns and the Steelers had the same leadership, the Browns are in better position than the Steelers are. To be honest with you, they got a higher draft pick. They got talent over there. It's just the fact that the leadership sucks. Like the leadership and their quarterback is they sticking with a quarterback that the leadership paid. But like I said, I'd rather be the number 2 pick in the draft than getting bounced in the wild card and next year, get my boy JD5. And
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying tank, but I'm just saying sometimes it's beneficial to be bad for a year. Sometimes it's beneficial to be bad, go get you a true bona fide franchise quarterback, and then you good. But when you stay in this 10 and 7, 9 and 8, you don't get good draft picks, or you don't get it's not even that you don't get good draft picks, because like you said, you could take a quarterback, later, like Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts and still be successful. But like it's hard, it's that too. But it's also hard to find those. You got to really be a great evaluator of talent at that position. He can evaluate receivers all day when it comes to talent and draft them as late as whatever and still get just diamonds out of it. But when it comes to quarterbacks, Like, I feel like they need to go get the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. Get like a almost basically guaranteed solid franchise quarterback that okay, 9 times out of 10, he's going to at least be decent to start, and he's got potential to be this, and build around that, bro. Opposed to what they're doing right now.
They got Justin Fields.
Heck bent, or you said what?
They got Justin Fields, so I mean, I don't know how. They should have traded up for Penix.
Oh yes, that and I love Penix. I think that'd have been great for him. I'm not that not to steal Von's words. I'm not that high on Justin Fields, man. Like, I'm not that high on him, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't think he's the guy that's gonna get it done for you either, bro. Not in that division. You're not gonna beat the Ravens in the playoffs, or the Ravens wouldn't matter, or even I believe the Bengals, if they're really at the top of their game with Justin Fields, bro. I don't see it. And I think Lamar at this point is over this. All right, when I play Pittsburgh, I play a certain way. I ain't gonna lie, Joe. I think that might be dead.
It's dead now.
Like, I think it's dead, bro.
Yeah, it's dead. It's definitely dead. But let's talk about a team that was dead in Lincoln Financial Field. I mean, dead.